What's up, Tess? Hey guys, how's it going? We're out in the garage today, taking a little break from working on the truck, but I want to show you a new cool tool. If you've ever worked on older vehicles, you'll know if a wheel stud gets messed up, it's a major pain, or any kind of bolt or threaded part. And thread repair is not easy. So I have one stud on this truck that is junk. These are all in real good shape. When I got this truck, this one stud, I don't know if you can see it, is pretty bad. It's partly rusted and partly looks like it's had a wheel slid on and off of it 100 times. I'm putting new rotors on this when I do the bearings, so it'll get new studs too, but in the meantime I wanted to show you how I'm going to fix that. Got this cool new tool here. It's a thread chasing die, but it's a special one. Most of you know that if you take a die and put some pressure on there and start cranking it on a good stud or a good thread, it'll go right on, no problem, and clean the paint and junk out of your threads. If it's a bad one that has a knackered end like this, chances are good you're going to cut new threads in the wrong spot and be left with razor sharp threads that will not hold any kind of torque. And won't be safe, especially for an application like this. So you want a thread chasing die, but we're not using just any thread chasing die. This is called a hinged die. A lot of dies have a little set screw, but that's just to adjust how tight they are, how deep the threads cut. This one is designed to go back onto the threads to where they're decent, close it, clamp it down, and then work it off. So you're starting with good threads. I got this one from McMaster Carr. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Chase 'em Back. It's not cheap. You can buy these in a set or individually, but it's invaluable when you need to do a repair like this, in my opinion. You can buy these in basically any thread, metric or standard. This is a 1/2 by 20 stud on this axle, so I just bought the one. I'll put the link in the description. It's from McMaster Carr. This one was about $16, which I know seems like a lot, but if you've done this before, you know it's well worth it, and this will last, if you take care of it and don't lose it, last a long time. So it's good to have in your toolbox. So let's get set up and give it a shot. So anytime you're cutting threads or chasing threads, get some sort of good oil. So how this works is you open it up, slide it over. You can slide it over the threads like that, or if you open it up wide enough, you can just drop it down. When you close it, you want to make sure it's engaged in the threads. So just kind of wiggle it, turn it a little bit. The more damaged your threads are, the harder that's going to be, but that's why it's hinged, so you can go to a part on your bolt or stud that's not jacked up. So then what you're going to do is you can use a die wrench if it's out in the open, where you can spin it, or you can put any kind of open end wrench or whatever. It's a 1-inch, so it will work for your like T-handles and stuff, but I need a socket. So you want to get the tightest one you can, because that's what's going to prevent it from spreading. Ideally it would be a special wrench that can clamp down on it, but this is what we have to do here since since we're dealing with a stud. Now I know I could knock this stud out, and I will. I'm going to replace all of them, but this is just for a test. Die on there. I'm going to have to use this bar to counter hold. Because there's so much paint and rust and junk, it's not closing far enough for me to get the socket over it, so I'm going to just kind of gently use a pair of channel locks to try to close it up. And ooh, what's going on? That hinge doesn't look the strongest, so you probably don't want to have to like wail on it, but you can see that wasn't too bad. So I'm going to put a ratchet on it and going backwards. I put oil on it, on the whole stud and in the die before I put the socket on. They go nice and slow. Just like when you're cutting threads, it doesn't hurt to change direction. It kind of breaks the chip and cleans it out. If it gets super hard, I would stop. and pull the socket off and check it out, but this is going really good. Look at that. So now it's closing up enough that I can get the socket on and off. Lubrication is your friend. We'll call this tool the Andrea. That's my wife because she's always chasing studs. Sorry, I had to. Alright, I'm going faster because it's turning nice and easy. Ooh, the suspense is killing me because I can't see it. I don't need this anymore. It's not turning hard at all. This darn Harbor Freight ratchet likes to change direction on you. Alright, I think we're getting close to the end. Alright, it's off. One thing with these, you definitely want to clean them out after every bolt. It's full of metal shavings, rust, and paint, and all kinds of gross stuff. So, and before you try to run anything on it, you want to clean it off with something. Because, like I said, all those chips and rust and junk. Well, it definitely cleaned them up a little bit, but they still look pretty gross. Not because of the dye didn't do the job, but because it was wore out. But look at that. Before, I could not even get a nut started on there, and now it goes on by hand. Actually doesn't feel half bad. So, did the trick. But the main thing this is nice for is if, let's say, you buy this axle, you bring it home, you go down the cherry picker, and you drop it, and it like doesn't bend them, it just destroys a couple threads on the front. You can open this up, slide it on, clamp it down, and clean it off. It's a really handy tool, and it is kind of irreplaceable as far as compared to a normal die. So there it is, the Chase 'em back hinged die. Get your own, chase some studs, and fix your junk. Just a quick update while you're here. I haven't done much last couple days. I've got some parts. Got front shocks. Got our gasket kit. We're gonna do the killer dowel pin shortly. So we've got a crank seal, timing cover gasket, and then that's the carrier bearing. I just dropped the drive shafts off at the truck shop this morning to get the rear drive line finished. So that'll be exciting. That's kind of a big deal. Next up, big job is fitting the intercooler and radiator in the stock Chevy core support. So that's going to be some fabrication, and I'm not reinventing the wheel. Other people have done it, but that'll be my first shot at doing that. So it's a lot bigger than the Jeep intercooler. I'll show you that if you haven't seen it before. Just this tiny little guy here, but I did have to cut some slots in here and shorten my headlight buckets. So I've done it before, but this is going to be a lot bigger scale and a lot more cutting involved. So stay tuned for that, and hope you enjoyed the video today. Thanks for watching, and catch you later.